It's me, Tim, and Caitlin, and we thought we'd make a fun little video. We actually do our date nights every Friday. So my date night for the week was making a little video and telling the story of how we actually met. So I'm going to start, and then Caitlin can jump in with her version of it, because obviously we have both of our sides of it. But how I first got to know Caitlin was actually through her sister, Brittany. I was working at this small Catholic school in their athletic department, Newman University in Wichita, and her sister was helping out. She was like kind of a student intern that helped in the athletic department, plus she also helped coach the cheerleading team. So I knew about Caitlin through her. Actually, it's kind of funny, like she said, like, because we were Facebook friends, and I saw photos of like Caitlin in them, and I'm like, hey, like your sister, like, is she single? Like, can you like hook me up? Like maybe put in a good word. And Brittany actually said like she didn't think it would work out. So she at first was like, no, not really your type, not really her type. So, but actually, eventually, what I think is funny about it, eventually met Caitlin at a Newman basketball game, probably the first Newman basketball game Caitlin had been to in a while. She was there to see Brittany. Brittany actually introduced us. It was at halftime of the game. And if you know anything about what I used to do working in athletics, I would be working these games nonstop, in charge of so many things. It was pretty stressful. And I remember meeting her like and being super stressed just from work and thinking like, oh, why am I meeting her now? Like, this is probably not a good impression. So after that, I didn't really see Caitlin for a while. It was probably a few months. And I actually thought Brittany was gonna like set us up, and she invited me to like get lunch with her one day and said, hey, there's someone I want you to meet. It actually wasn't Caitlin. It was, I feel like I was kind of set up, but like looking back, it's like really funny to think. I remember like even like trying to make sure I looked nice and all that. And then met someone else that was totally not related to what I thought it'd be. But anyways, after that, actually Brittany was like, oh yeah, just reach out to her. Like, I'm not going to give you her number, but like, if you ask for it, I'm sure she'll give it to you. So right after that, I like reached out to Caitlin on Facebook, like sent her a Facebook message asking for her number, and then got her number, called her and asked her out on a date. And that's my side of it leading up to our first date. I'm not really sure what Caitlin remembers, so this is going to be interesting to learn what her first impressions were too.
I just lost my microphone down my dress. So my first impression of Tim was, I had been single for a while, and I was just kind of looking to meet somebody, and my sister knew that, and I actually didn't know that she told him that we were not a good fit. And so she just told him, I guess, eventually to get my number on like Facebook Messenger, which he did. And I thought it was cute because he just asked for my number, and then like he said he would call me. And I thought that was like super charming. And then he did call me, but we actually did meet briefly, like he said before he got my number. But Brittany introduced me to like 3 other guys at the same game. So, and they were all like very short meetings, like, hi, nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you. So when he actually like messaged me for my number, I didn't know which one he was. I was like, okay, he's somebody I think from that game, but I did not know. And then he called me, and then we set up a date, and then it was really nice. He was all dressed up. He actually was more dressed up than I was. I was not used to like going on like fancy dates at all. So I was just in like jeans and boots and like a cute top. And he was like all dressed up, button down, nice pants, vest. And I was like, I opened the door and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm underdressed. I'm never underdressed. But it was fun. And I remember after our date, like I had so many butterflies. Like I never felt butterflies like after our first date. So I was just like, okay, screw you, Brittany. This is going somewhere.
So, but anyways, our first date was actually, it's a restaurant that isn't open anymore in Wichita. It's called Taste and See. It was a recommendation. One of the coaches at Newman knew some people there and said, "Oh, it's a great spot for a first date." So shout out to Shell if she ever sees this. Like, yeah, that was our first date. I remember picking up Caitlin, her apartment complex. I actually just remembered my car. I actually had to use a screwdriver to put it into gear at that point. But yeah, I remember we went there and it was actually really great first conversations, like talked a lot about our families, just really connected. I remember Caitlin being like super nervous, like just she would talk with her hands a lot, and to the point where like she'd put her hands up and you'd think she was trying to get like the waiter's attention, and he'd come over and she'd be like, no. And like, so it was like super cute because you could tell like she was really nervous, but like our conversation was really natural as far as like our interest, and you could just tell like we really clicked right away on our first date on just like a Sunday afternoon dinner at Taste and See in Wichita. So I remember, yeah, it went really well. Like I would say the best first date I've ever had. Obviously, like it worked out. And then I remember dropping her off, and she left her leftovers from the meal in my car. So I called her, and I didn't even think about it. I just called her, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, you left your food." I remember she's like, "Oh yeah, you just hang on to it. Like I don't need it. No big deal." And like I didn't even think about it. I'm just like, "How about I just bring it by tomorrow and we can have like date number 2. Like we can play some cards, like play some games." I remember our first date, she talked about how she loves playing games with her family, and she said yes. So I already had date number 2 lined up by the end of the first one. So, and then from there, I mean, first few weeks, it was probably a date once every few days, hanging out a lot. And yeah, like that's really the start. There was never like that uncertainty, like, oh, would they call back? Am I going to hear from them? It was straight like, okay, we're hanging out. We kept hanging out, and then we never stopped hanging out.
Little did we know we'd be stuck together, hopefully forever.
So yeah, I mean, that's really the whole how we met first story. It was really through Brittany. So thanks, Brittany. Appreciate it. And it really just went from there. No looking back. No second guessing all the way through. And right now, just to kind of like give a throwback, that was 2014. Our first date was like January 2014.
January 12th.
January 12th, 2014. So it's been, I mean, that first date was 6 years ago, more than 6 years ago. So we've been together now 6 years. We have right now 2 beautiful daughters.
One sitting over there.
Yeah, Holland, our youngest, is not napping. We're actually trying to do this during nap time. Penelope, our oldest, is napping, and Holland doesn't like napping. So she actually, if there's any background noise that sounds like a baby, it's her.
Say cheese. And that's how we met.